Hello, hello, my lovely Aquas. How are y'all doing? Hope y'all are well. This is Vivid Vibration. My name is Christina. Thanks so much for being here with me today. Yeah. I just don't know what to do with my hair. It's just a mess. I could straighten it, I suppose, but I'll just complain about it instead. Okay. Aquas. What's going on with my aquas? I mean, I don't know why I'm surprised to see that. Okay. I'm a little bit curious what's going on with my aquas. Okay. Okay, we have the fault line, the castle, the siren, the shaman, and the destroyer. And aquas. God, I don't even remember what your last read was. Shit. I feel like there was something about overcoming your fear. But Aquas, you guys are out of the box people, right? Like you love, like your favorite thing about yourself is that you don't operate in life the way anybody operates in life. You know what I mean? You feel me? You're like, I do this, and this. Boss ass energy, you know, that BDE, you know, like you are outside of the box, and yet you are a fixed sign, and so you have a really difficult time with change. You know, like once you've set on something, you know, then that something is like God's word in the house. You know what I mean? And if anybody says anything different, then, you know, like for all of your progressiveness, for all of your outside of the box, I think you guys are also like extreme traditionalists in a way. And I feel like the idea here, I mean, because the castle is like destination stagnation, you know, like I feel like you had an idea on what you wanted and what you were going to have. This is very stern energy. This is what I want. This is what I'm going to have. Because this is non-traditional. And if you're not going to adhere to that, then tough shit. You know, like I'm going to have an open relationship is what I want to say. Like you were going to have what you wanted. It doesn't have to be an open relationship, but it feels like it. It feels like you had a pretty little image in your mind of what it meant to shatter the normative. And that you got caught in that. Because when you were going to manufacture your anti-normative relationship, you ended up getting the short end of the stick. And I don't think it really worked out very well for you, honestly. I think that you're a progressive person and you need somebody who can keep up with you, basically. You know what I mean? And I think that you were finding people who were willing to bow down to you instead of people who could like stand up next to you. You know what I mean? And all you saw was traditional or non-traditional. You never saw the character of the people that you drew to you. And what you ended up drawing to you was like pretty on the outside, but not so great on the inside. And I mean, you know, the idea of the shaman and Aqua's, I can get down with the idea of like locking you in with that shaman vibe, right? I mean, you're into the metaphysics, you know, like you love to study the stars and ideas that are outside of the norm. You know, I mean, you're not afraid to take thought outside of the traditional. This is how it's supposed to be, and this is what we're supposed to think about, and regimen rhetoric. You know what I mean? Like you guys aren't on that vibe, and I feel like there's just been this element of like, I mean, because you know the shaman is the mentor. Um, God damn, I can never remember what all three they are. The mentor, the healer, and the unseen. Because it's that idea of like you have a knowing, you know, you share that with others, you learn from others, you teach others, you know, then you know, you bring healing to misunderstandings, you bring healing to confusion because confusion causes pain, pain causes fear. You know, I mean, like it's like this cycle, you know, like the shaman carries people through. And I think that you've been held captive from really in like embracing that side of you because you've been living in this regimented rhetoric idea of what is acceptable in your relationships. I mean, that could be business relationships, that could be, you know, personal relationships, that could be friendships, you know, I mean, that could play out in any number of ways. I don't want to say, I mean, I said open relationship, but like that was legit like the thought that would like shot into my brain instantly. So I mean, but it's that idea of like whatever it was that you were clinging to, you know, whether it was a project and you were like, this is the way that it has to be done, and everybody was trying to tell you, you know, like it's quality not quantity. You know what I mean? Like, and you were like, no, you know, we need more, and they were like, no, we need better, and you know, like it could play out in any number of ways, honestly. But that's what the energy is that's coming through. Is that there was this idea of like quantity, not quality. You know, like does it look like it's from IKEA? You know, like does my house look like it's from IKEA? You know, I mean, like, and IKEA presents itself with all of its different fashion styles. You know what I mean? Like, you can go to IKEA and you can get this type of you know, character, this type of character, and you know what I mean? Like, people will decorate with their IKEA furniture and their manufactured characters, and it's so painful. And I feel like you have been living in this world of IKEA manufactured characters, and you're discovering that it's like really not all it's cracked up to be. Because what you really are wanting is the freedom, you know, like the freedom to think outside of the box, the freedom to exist outside of this confined, you know, robot rhetoric, you know, I mean, because it's what it is. And I mean, and then you have the siren and the destroyer. I mean, the siren is like the idea of like you can't ignore the call of the siren. You know, like lest you tie your hands to the mast. And I feel like almost want to say like something with the wind. Like a whisper on the wind, you know. It was almost like you caught the scent. It's what it feels like. It feels like I feel like I'm you know, like that just that wind, you know, like crossing your face, and like the scent, you know, like filling your nose. I mean, there's just kind of like this, you know, like you caught scent of the siren. This is the energy that's coming through is way more aggressive than it usually feels. But, you know, I mean, like there is this idea of like you came in hard, and like this is what you were saying was going to be, and like it wasn't happening that way. But like if you and it's almost like you got trapped in this, like, oh, I'm going to be firm and demeaning and controlling, and, you know, and lost sight completely of like who you were and what you stood for, and how you know, like how you otherwise behaved. You know, I feel like the castle is almost this wormhole for you. You know, like perhaps you've taken on character that was not otherwise natural to you. You know, like I don't know, but whatever it was, it made you feel really angry and really aggressive, and like I think brought out this like aggressive destroyer, because I feel like you want to just like straight up destroy this castle that you found yourself in, and like break through, and I almost want to say like transform. I mean, there is just like this, like I just feel this goddamn Twilight. But it's that idea of like when they're running, you know, and then like the next thing you know, they're wolves, and they're on the hunt, and they are going for what they want, you know. I mean, like this has a very aggressive feel, like almost this, like I don't know, like what happens, but what feels like what it happens is the idea that you caught scent. Like I don't even feel like anything, like the only thing that I feel is like this, you caught scent, and what you caught scent of almost like sent you running into this like transformation, you know, of like who you've been not being for so long, that you like you had taken on this like anger and this like aggressive and like stance of like, oh, I'm gonna live my life this way because this way's outside of the box, you know. And then you got trapped in a fucking box, you know. Like, but I think you've been trying to get out of that box. That box was broken from the time you stepped into it, because you was too big for it anyways, you know. But it's like something you caught with of something that you're like, I'm not this time. Nope, it's mine. Well, okay, Aquarius. I mean, you know, some of my aquas were moving in together and like getting engaged, and they were doing like all those like basic fundamental things. This doesn't feel basic or fundamental to me. Not that getting engaged or moving in is like basic. I'm not trying to say that. Like, please don't be offended by that. You know, but this feels like soul level. Okay, what else can we get from Atlas? The Ten of Wands. You know, I want to say, Aquas, it's that idea of like your vibe attracts your tribe, right? And if you identify yourself as somebody who's outside of the box, but you never live outside of the box, then you're a box. You know? And I feel like, in part, with this whole, like, destroyer vibe and this, like, catching scent and this, like, breaking out of this box is this idea that you're wanting to attract your tribe. You're wanting to, you know, it's like, I feel like you just feel kind of caged in, surrounded by idiots, you know, like, maybe not all of them are idiots, but I feel like there's been this vibe, though, of, like, I feel like my air signs are irritated as fuck right now with people that they're dealing with, you know, and they're just, like, looking at it, I'm like, why are you my friend? You know what I mean? Like, why are you, and just feeling, like, ready to break away from a community that no longer suits you and move toward, you know, like a fullness of a real tribe. I feel like you're like, I want a real tribe. None of this IKEA shit. So you have the Page of Cups, the Eight of Pentacles, and the King of Cups. And I want to say that in terms of the Page of Cups and the Eight of Pentacles, I feel like in part that's what you've been dealing with, Aquas. You know, just that idea of, like, what was it? Were you guys the ones that were, like, getting the good deal? Was that what the Aqua read was about? But you weren't actually getting a good deal? Or was that a Taurus read? It has that vibe, though. Either way, it has that vibe of, like, this is where you really want to be. You know? Like, look at all the money I have. And then you finding out that ain't shit. You know what I mean? And that could be a job, you know? It could be, you know, like, you thought you were going to get this great job, and look at all this money that I'm going to make. And then you find out in the end that you put in so much time, the money didn't add up, you know? It could be, you know, in a relationship where you thought, oh, this person is really going to, you know, like, they're somebody in the community, and then you find out that they're, like, the joke of the community. You know what I mean? Like it's one of those things where, like, what you thought you were getting didn't end up being all that great in the end. You know, like, you got destination stagnation all over your face. And, you know, and I feel like there's just this idea of, like, it wasn't serving you well. You weren't happy. You're ready to destroy it. Okay, we get it. You're wanting to move toward the siren, you know, because that's what calls to your spirit. I feel like that's where it's like the muse of your life, you know? The Three of Cups, again, some celebration. I love it. I mean, that's what it is. I mean, the Three of Cups is literally, like, it's a card of celebration. You know, it's just being happy, a momentous occasion, you know? And I feel like there's this idea of celebrating, you know, like, this a momentous occasion. And I feel like, I mean, there's just this, like, mythical vibe coming through here. You guys are on your story time. I love it. But it's, you know, it's that idea of, you know, like being on the hunt and catching, you know, again, the breeze. I don't know, what is it, like the wind, like the scent on the wind. But it's that idea of, like, just like you sent the wind to me, and it, like, I caught smell like there's something very, you know, you're like, I can smell you on the wind, you know, like ready to come in, you know, and claim what's mine, you know. There's this very like on the hunt, territorial, and eight of wands, you know, like precision and like focus, you know. And I feel like there's just this idea of like, you know what you want, like you can feel it calling to you. You like can smell it on the wind, you know. Like you're like, I want to say you've been waiting for this for a minute. You know, there's this idea of like, I feel like maybe you even thought it was never going to happen. Like you gave up on it. And then, I mean, you know, because she feels the sun on her face, you know, kind of like after this long wait, you know, through the darkness, and kind of like that idea of like feeling the sun on your face, feeling like there's hope, there's this like hope in the air almost, and being ready to really just like go for what you want, what you bout it. Okay, we're at 21 minutes, so I feel like that's long enough. I'm going to do an archetype, and we'll call it a read. The temple. I mean, the temple is the idea of like, you know, what are you worshiping? And usually it's not what you think. I mean, and that fits into the idea, aquas, of like that stagnation, like destination to stagnation, you know, like you were so fixed on an idea of being non-traditional that you were like quantity over quality, and you were selling yourself short, instead of recognizing that like non-traditional comes in so many forms, you know what I mean, and that you needed to have like an openness to like the diversity of non-traditional, you know, and that sometimes they may intertwine, you know. I mean, like sometimes you may have some very non-traditional elements that come along with traditional elements, but if you're so rigid on the aesthetic of what your non-traditional looks like, then, you know, there's no room for movement or growth or development, you know, like it's capped out. And it's kind of that idea of like, what have you been worshiping? It's almost like you've been worshiping your rigidity rather than your fluidity. And that feels like that anger, you know, like instead of being in that anger, you know, in that place of lack and control, you know, where everything looks pretty, but it's all crumbled beneath. You know, moving towards what you want. Because I feel like you just want to worship at the temple of the siren. Go ahead, Aqua. All right. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. I hope this resonates, and I'll see you all again. Bye.